Hello, hi everyone. Uh, so, uh, Welcome to Anastasis Academy, and my name is Tushar. Okay, so in this video, we are going to discuss the solutions for XAT 2024 for the QA and DI section, right? And the paper was held yesterday on Sunday, 7 January. So today we are going to discuss the solution of all the 28 problems which you all must have attempted yesterday, right? So let us directly get into it. So XAT has basically, XLRI has basically come up with the question paper, as you all know, without the answer key. So the order of the questions that I have taken is from the XAT official question paper. So the first question, to begin with, it was a very lengthy read. I have put it in a very small font here so that we can read it together in one slide, but it was a very lengthy question. But if you took the courage to read it through, you realize it was a sitter problem and it was a very easy problem to solve once you take the courage to read the entire paragraph. Right, so it says that in a small college, students are allowed to take only one specialization. There are two specialization offered: science, arts. Science students take physics, maths, while arts take eco and pol science. Science are not allowed to take the subjects of arts. Arts are not allowed, vice versa. Similarly, there is a third specialization, Math Eco, which is a combo, right? It's a maths plus eco. So maybe quickly we can jot down what was given to us. So in science, we have physics and maths. In arts, we have eco and political science, right? And there is a new Math Eco, which is basically maths and eco, right? These are the two old one and two specialization. This is a third new one being offered now as per the problem. And similarly, Math Eco cannot take physics and pol science. So now they say that when this new specialization was offered, it allowed students to switch the science and arts existing students to switch to Math Eco if they want. So from originally student which enrolled in art, 20 switched to Math Eco. So if let's say A students had enrolled in arts, 20 go to Math Eco. What are left are A minus 20. This makes the number of science students twice the number of art students. So that means they're basically saying the existing science students are double of the remaining art students after the 20 have moved on to Math Eco, right? Now they say after this, right? After this is very important in this question, that we don't have to start all over again. The place which we have reached when 20 students have already switched to Math Eco, from now on, the original students in science 45 switch to this. So S becomes, so out of S, 45 switch to Math Eco. So now science is S minus 45. They say art is now twice of science. So art is now A minus 20, right? So A minus 20 is double of S minus 45. So this is your equation number one. This is your equation number two. You can eliminate A minus 2. A minus 2 S by 2 hai. So we can directly put it here. So these two equations combined will give us S by 2 equals to twice of S minus 45. If you solve, S will come out to be 60. And when I say 60, you can put it back here. So you will get A as 50. 60 minus S by 2, right? So 30. A minus 20 will be 30, A will be 50. So these are our original number of students. Science was 60, art was 50 to begin with. Now, the interesting thing, to be careful, the options are pretty close. There's a chance of making mistake. It asks how many students that enrolled in originally science or arts out of these 50 and 60, 110 students who are now taking eco. So eco will be taken by both these 50 art students, uh, 50 minus 20, right? 20 have already moved on. So these 30 art students which are left, they are also taking eco, and those 20 and 45 who are switched to Math Eco are obviously taking Math Eco, so they are taking eco as well. So the answer will be 30 plus 20 plus 45. So the most common mistake which could be done is you forgot about taking the original art students and take the answer as 65, which was there very much there in the option, but the actual answer is 95, right? So It was a lengthy question to read, but the level of difficulty was not very high to begin your exam. Right. Coming to the second question, it was an AP question. They say that the number of students in classes 1 to 10 are in AP. The number of students from 1 to 5 is twice from 6 to 10. Okay, so there are 10 numbers in AP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're saying the sum of these is double of sum of these. So if their sum is x, their sum is 2x. And all these numbers are in AP. It also says sum of the students for 1 to 4. So first 4, the sum is 462. So how many students are in class 6? So this value I have to find out. Class 6 value I have to find out from the options. So here we can, directly use the nth term formula for AP by taking the first term as A, then A plus D, and so on and so forth. 10 terms, and so the last one will be A plus 9D. If you want, you can write all of them, or you can, just know that this will be plus 2D, plus 3D. I'm not writing A and A again, plus 4D. This final answer which we need is 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D. All of them have A, right? I have not written that. So now when you add the first 5, it will be 5A plus 1, 3, 6, 10D. This is given to us as double of these 5 again will give you 5A plus how many Ds? 5, 11, 18, 25 and 5, 11, 18, 26 and 9, 35D. You can cancel out 5 from the both sides. You'll get A plus 2D equals to twice of A plus 7D. That will be 2A plus 14D. I've cancelled out 5 from the both sides. This will give me A equals to minus 12D. See, this minus sign you could have figured out while solving the question as well, right? Why I'm saying that is because they're saying the sum of the first 5 terms is double of the next 5 terms. So it is obviously a question of decreasing AP. So decreasing AP means that D has to be negative. So the marks, not marks, there is number of students in this. So the number of students of class 1 will be more than class 2 and so on and so forth. So A is coming out to be minus 12D. Now I have to use this numerical value 462 given. 462 is sum of the first 4, which is 4A plus 356D. Here I can directly put A equal to, this is given to me as 462. I can put A as minus 12D, the 4A will be minus 48D plus 6D equals to 462. This gives me minus 42D equals to 462, and 462 is nothing but 42 into 11. So D will come out to be minus 11. And when you will put this minus 11 here, so my A will come out to be 12 into 11 is 132. So the series starts with 132 and drops 11 at every step. And my final answer was A plus 5D, which was class 6th. So 132 minus 5 times 11 will be 55. 132 minus 55, 32, 23, that will be 77, which is nothing but again option number 4. Right? This was the second problem. Let's move on to the third problem. Yeah, this was an interesting one. It says that a flight is traveling 11,200 kilometers. It was supposed to take off at 6:30 a.m. Due to bad weather, it got delayed by 3 hours. So I can just write this from one point to another point. I had to travel 11,200 kilometers. The original time was 6:30 a.m. AM is important because the options are in PM. So just to be clear on that, there's a 3-hour delay. So the flight actually takes off at 9:30 a.m. plus 3-hour delay. Now the pilot increases his average speed from the originally planned by 100. So let's say the original speed was S. Now he does S plus 100. Now what he does is he reduces. He was not able to reach on time, but still he is able to reduce the delay by 1 hour. So originally the delay was supposed to be 3 hours. He saves how much? 2 hours. So my distance, so time, if I calculate 11,200 divided by s. This was the original time which I would have taken, but by increasing time, by increasing speed by 100, I've reduced my time. So this will be actually 2 hours more than this. Why 2? I hope everyone's clear on that. We got this 2 because the original delay was supposed to be 3 hours, but the pilot managed to reduce the delay to 1 hour. So the saving is of 2 hours. So my original time should be 2 hours more than the new time. Now, if you solve, now see, there are two ways to solve this. You could, create a quadratic out of it. But once you reach this place, there is a step where s into s plus 100. If I have not opened that bracket to make a quadratic, this comes 56 double zero double zero. 56 would 2 will cancel out from 112. You'll get 56. Now at this stage, you can either solve the quadratic, which is again not a very difficult task, but there is an intuitive way to look at this. See, s is increasing by 100. So if I, for a moment, assume that my s is a multiple of 100, so that will give two zeros from s and another two zeros from s plus 100, which will account for these four zeros. So all I need is a number which, when multiplied by its next number, gives 56, which is very easy because 56 is 7 into 8. So intuitively, this s, if I put 700 and again 700 here, so 700 into 800 will give me 56 and two zeros from 700 and 800. So actually the S comes out to be 700. I've given you an intuitive way to figure this out. You could have, if you're not able to see that during the exam environment, you can very well open it and find the roots of this quadratic equation. You'll get 700 and 800. Right. Now, my final answer is, if he had increased by speed by 350, now when he will reach, right? So 700 was original speed. They're basically asking you to calculate this 11,200 divided by 700 plus 350. This is nothing but 1050. If you'll calculate, this comes out to be 10 and a two-third, right? Which is nothing but 10 hours. Two-third of an hour is 40 minutes. So my flight now becomes 10 hours 40 minutes. But here you have to be careful. You don't have to add it at 6:30 a.m. You have to add it to 9:30 a.m. because there was a weather delay. So 9:30 a.m. you add first 10 hours, that becomes 7:30 p.m. and then another 40 minutes, that will become 8:10 p.m. If somebody had used 6:30 a.m., which was wrong, you would have arrived at third option, which was before 8:10 p.m. Again, the answer is option 4. For the first three questions, all of them gave us the answer option 4. Right. Let's move on to the fourth question now. Logarithmic problem, but see, while teaching quant in class, I always tell you that, okay, if there is a topic, there are a lot of us which feel that log is a difficult topic. Maybe for some geometry might be difficult. But when you arrive at such questions in exam, you realize that at least my basics of a topic should be strong. So this question is a perfect example of that because it was a logarithm problem and some of us might not be very comfortable with log, but it was the most easiest and the most basic uh, problem of a log which one could arrive at. It was very easy, right? When you see log, I can write it as a log, the left hand side I can split it as log x minus 2 upon log 5, and the right hand side I can write it as 2 log 2 was already there, 2x minus 4, and in the bottom there is log 25, which again 25 is 5 power 2, so it becomes 2 log 5. So this 2 cancel out with this 2, this log 5, this log. Now log of a number is equal to log of another number. That's only possible when those two numbers are equal. But here, if you realize this is x minus 2, this is also twice of x minus 2. So the x comes out to be 2. Sorry, x minus 2 will come out to be 0. So x will come out to be 2. Now, the intuition is they have asked you how many different values there. So the intuition is to take one value x equal to 2. But we always talk about in log class that whenever you're dealing log, the value inside log can never be 0 or negative. There is no log of a negative number or log of a 0. But here, putting x equal to 2, even this will become 0 and even this will become 0, which is not allowed. The log of a 0 is, you cannot calculate log of a 0. So this x equal to 2 was a solution, but based on, we call this domain, right? So domain of log does not allow this. So finally, there is no answer to this question. So we'll have to say there are 0 values of x which satisfy this given equation. So the reason I called it an easy question was because solving log like this is the very basics which we study in log, and similarly domain of log, that it cannot be zero, is also a very basic property, right? Let's move on to the next one. Question number 5. Okay. Uh, such questions are easy, but you just have to carefully read. There is a lot of chance of making mistake in this question if you miss out any of the points. So my recommendation for such question would be read it as slowly as it takes, because if you take half a minute more to read it and do it correctly, is better than doing incorrect, right? So read it slowly, and if needed, read it twice also. So let's read it slowly together. The cost of running a movie theater is 10,000 per day. It's kind of a fixed cost, right? That 10,000 per day, this is my fixed cost. I have to spend even if I don't conduct a show. But then there is a variable cost per show, 5,000 per show. Theater has 200 seats. Okay. A new movie is released on a Friday. There were 3 shows. Price for 250 for the first 2 shows, and night show was a bit cheaper at 200. Right. So there are 200 seats, and there are 3 shows with capacity, with prices 250, 250, and 200. The night show is a bit cheaper. So this is seats, and these are prices in rupees. Now it says that for all shows together, so this together was the keyword, that total occupancy is 80%, not for every show. So if my total seats are 200, 200, 200, so combined of all 3 shows, 600 seats are there. Out of this, 80% were occupied. This gives us 480. So this 480 seats I have to split between the 3 shows. But the question says, what is the maximum amount of profit? So now my 2 shows are equally priced, but the third show is slightly cheaper. So I'll try to put minimum seats in the cheaper show. Right. If I have to maximize my profit, I'll try to create a scenario where minimum people came for the late night show. So this 480, I can split it as 200 full capacity here, and only 80 people came for the night show. So my revenue or my sales will be, for the first show, 200 seats at 250. Similarly, for the second show, 200 full seats at 250, and for the last 80 shows at 200 rupees per seat. If you'll calculate this will come out to be 1,16,000, right? But I have to calculate profit. See, 1,16,000 was also there in the option. So there is another possibility of mistake that you calculate sales instead of profit. But cost, I have to spend cost, which is 10,000 for the fixed cost for the day, and then 5,000 since I have conducted 3 shows. So this my costing will be 25,000. So my profit will be sales minus cost, which will be 1,16,000 minus 25, which will be nothing but 91,000, which is very much there in the option. Again, option number 4 is coming. 4 out of 5 questions, option 4 has come till now. Right. So there is a lot of possibility of mistakes. So just, carefully read it. Together was one keyword, and the other keyword was you are supposed to calculate profit, not the sales. Right. Let's come to the next one. Question number 6. There's a food stall that sells only chicken biryani. The selling price 160, 300 plates are sold. Okay, they've given you one scenario where number of plates are 300 and price per plate is 160. This is one scenario. Similarly, okay, there was one statement in between. For each increase in selling price by 10 per plate, so if I increase my price to 170 from 160, people buy less. So my plates decrease, and so on and so forth. Similarly, for increase on the other side, if I increase my price to 310, I'm very sorry, if I decrease my price to 150 by 10 rupees, the people buying the plates increase, and from 300 I reach 310. So there are two ways, right? Either I keep increasing price by 10 rupees and my plates fall by 10 each. Similarly, there is another route where I keep decreasing my price and my number of plates increase. So there are two scenarios. Also, it is given that there is a cost of 120 per plate. So that means when I sell it for 160, my profit is 120 subtract from 160, it is 40. Similarly, when I sell it for 170, my profit is 50. At 150, my profit is 30. So on and so forth. Now, it says that there are few constraints. The first one is that selling price will never be less than the cost price. So I'll never sell it below 120. So when I keep decreasing my price from 160 to 150, 40, 30, I can go till 120 only. I cannot go beyond that. And on the other side, when I keep increasing my plates, there is a capacity constraint. I can never produce more than 400. Now, if they're saying these things, more or less we assume this, but they've clarified you that selling price is same for all plates and it can only be a multiple of 10. We were going to take that anyways, right? Then what is the maximum profit you can achieve? So we have to figure out where, increasing the price, where I'll end up, decreasing the price, what is my overall profit and where is my maximum, right? So since we have understood this, let me take some more space and write out. So 300. So we are talking about plates and price, and we are also talking about profit. So 300, the combo was with 160 and the profit was 40. So here I keep increasing my price, 170, 180 and so on. My profit will keep increasing, 50, 60 and so on. My plates will keep decreasing, 290, 280 and so on. There will be a final place. Obviously, I have to sell some plates. If I sell 0 plates, I am in a loss. So this side, I'll go till 10. So I have taken 29 jumps, right? From 300, 29 jumps of 10. So here also I'll take 29 jumps from 160. I'll reach 450 and my profit is 330. 450 minus 120. On the other side, I was asked till go till 120 only because I was not supposed to not sell at below cost price. So 150, 140, 130, 120. This is a stop. So these will be my possible values and my number of plates will keep increasing here. 310, 320, 330, 340. And here my profit will keep decreasing. 30, 20, 10, and here obviously my profit is 0 because I'm selling at cost price. See, for our discussion, we are, writing all values, but when you're actually solving in the exam in your rough work, you don't need to write all of them. This I'm showing so that you understand what went in this problem. See, an interesting observation in this is finally what I have to calculate. I have to calculate where my profit is maximum. So my profit, this is per plate, right? This is also price per plate and this is also profit per plate. So to get the overall profit, I have to multiply this profit by this. 0 into 340, 10 into 330, 20 into 320, so on 330 till 10. So I have to see where my product is getting maximum. But a very interesting observation in this question was 340 plus 0 is 340. Then you decrease 10 here, increase 10 here. So my sum is still 340. So that means number of plates plus profit per plate is always 340. And I have to maximize that product. So this is a very basic concept of maxima minima where we study when sum of two numbers is same, fixed, then when do we maximize their product? When both are equal. So there was a stage, there will be a stage where this and this will become equal. So when I keep increasing 0 by 10, 10, 10 and 340 degrees by 10, 10, there will be a stage where both of them are 170. You can see here there will be a stage where there both will be 170 170 and the maximum will be their product when 170 into 170, 17 ka square is 289. So my final profit is 28,900. See, you could have done this question by making an equation that, okay, take the plates at x and that is, x minus 10 and those ways. But I'm trying to give you a solution where you apply your logic of maxima minima, that when sum of two numbers is fixed, their product gets maximized when they are equal, right? And if somebody is having a doubt, in fact, I have written all the values above 300, 160, but if you would have written all the values below also, there will be 170, 170, because 280 reduced 11 times by 10 will reach at 170 somewhere. Similarly, 60 plus 10 plus 10, 11 times will also result in 170. So 170 and 170 will come together, right? So this was, I think, an ideal way to solve this question, giving us the answer as option 2. Right? Let's move on to the next one. Question 7. Again, a lot of story to read. Let's read it together. A farmer has a triangular plot of land. One side of the plot, let's call it base, is 300. The other two are equal. So by while writing also you can create that diagram. So there is a triangle. It's an isosceles triangle. This side and this side are equal, and the base is 300. From the corner of the plot, a perpendicular is dropped from where the two equal sides meet. So I'm dropping a perpendicular from here, which is 200. So now we all know in isosceles triangle, the perpendicular is also the bisector for the side. So this and this will also be equal, right? 150, 150. In isosceles triangle, from the side where the isosceles sides are joining, it all angle sides all get bisected. To counter the adverse effect of climate, he wants to dig a circular pond. Now he's decided that half of it, so he's going to draw a pond, circular pond. Half of it will be inside the triangle, half of it will be outside. So the one which is outside, he's going to purchase at market rate from his neighbor. So he has this land. So the land outside is, belonging to his neighbor. So when he draws the circle, half of the circle he'll have to buy. Half is his own land. Right. So they say the diameter is contained on the base, circumference touches the two equal sides. So there, the circle will be something like this, that when I draw it, the pond, right, it will something be like this. Half of the pond, so this will be the diameter. Half of the pond will be inside, half of the pond will be outside. Right. Let me draw it again without the numbers because numbers are covering our diagram. Let me just draw it again. So this is the half of the circle, rest half is outside. Right. Now, when they talk about the cost, so for cost per square feet rate is given 1400. So I just need to find the area of this circle, and half of the circle I'll have to pay, right? So for area of circle, what do I need? I need the radius. So if this will be touching like this, so if I draw radius from here, now tangent and radius will be perpendicular. So if this is r, this was 300, and there was also a perpendicular of 200. And this was also 150. We had just discussed that it will be half. Now, if you look at this triangle, let me just name these. This is A, this is B, C, D. Look at triangle ADC. If I know, see, my area of triangle ADC, I can calculate by doing half of base into height. But on the other side, I can also calculate by half into R into AC. Same triangle, I can calculate the area by AD and DC being perpendicular or R and AC being perpendicular. Those areas will obviously be equal. Now, to get R, I need AC, right? So AC is again very easy to calculate. Why? Because look at triangle ADC. ADC में ये 200 है, ये 150 है. So the ratio is 3:4. So if 3, 4, we know that in a right angle triangle, if this side is 3, this side is 4, this has to be 5. The most standard Pythagorean triplet, 3, 4, 5. So if this has been multiplied by 3 into 50, this also by 50 to make it 200. So this also will be multiplied by 50. So this AC length is actually given to us as 250. We put 250 here. From here, if you solve, R will come out to be 120. Yeah, just to summarize how we solved it, we looked at the radius and becoming perpendicular with the tangent. We found the area of triangle ADC, one on the base of DC and the other on the base of AC, and those areas we equated to get the radius. Now my final answer will be half of the circle multiplied by the cos. Cos is 1400, half pi r square, radius we have just obtained as 120. So this will be my final answer. This is not very difficult to calculate because 2 into 7 will go with this 14. 12 into 12 is 144. 144 into 22 and 2 zeros and 4 zeros. Right. So 144 into 22, if we calculate, it will come out to be 3168. So my answer is 3168000, 4 times. right? So it is basically 3 crore 16 lakhs 80,000, which is very much there in our first option, right? Let's move on to the eighth question. Data sufficiency problem. In that, we here and there do get DS. In this exam, you had one DS problem, question number 8. But again, it was quant based, right? So let's talk about this question. They say a group of boys are practicing football in a rectangular ground. Raju and Ratan are standing on two opposite midpoints of the two shortest side. So while reading only, you can draw a rectangle. Raju and Ratan are standing at the midpoints of two opposites. So let's say if this is Raju, midpoint of this shorter side, and Ratan is at midpoint of this shorter side. Right. After that, there is Raju has the ball, right? So he has the ball to begin with. So our process will start from Raju, who passes it to Rivu. So Rivu is standing on somewhere on one of the longer sides. So let's say this is Rivu. It's not necessarily the midpoint, standing somewhere on the long side. So if from here the ball is kicked here, and he holds it for 3 seconds. So he'll keep the ball with him for 3 seconds, and then he will pass it to Ratan. And Ratan will hold it for another 2 seconds and then pass it back to Raju. So this is the game, right? They're playing pass. Raju kicks it to Rivu. He holds it for 3 seconds, then he passes to Ratan, holds it for 2 seconds, kicks it back to Raju. Speed of the ball is always 10 meter per second. And the ball moves in. So this, while drawing the diagram, there was a doubt in my mind that, okay, why is I'm drawing it in a straight line, or why I'm drawing along the ground, the ball can go in the air. But the question was smart enough to clarify that for you, that it always will move in a straight line along the ground. Right. So there are two information. I pardon the formatting of it. These were in the next line. So the first statement is from here till here. First statement is basically giving you the dimensions of the rectangle. Okay, so first statement is giving you length into breadth is, so length is 80, breadth is 50. So all the distances are known to me. This side of Rivu will be 80, this will be half 25, this will be 25, this also be 80. So I know all the sides, right? So there's, and the second statement is telling me the area of this triangle between the two players is, area is 1000. So now in DS, how we do DS is we first check the problem, whether it is solvable by the first statement alone or second alone or both alone, or I need both the statements or I cannot solve the problem. These are the standard 5 options which we get in DS. But what we need to find is how many seconds does Raju take to get the ball back. So basically they're talking about time taken for these three pieces of journey, right? How much time? I know the speed of the ball. So if I know these distances, I can calculate the time, add the hold times to it, 3 seconds and 2 seconds, and get the final answer. So basically they're asking, let's say this call is A, B, and C. So basically they're asking, can you find all sides of triangle ABC? Right. There was an information given in the middle that there is a right angle of these two paths as well, right? From Raju to Rivu and Rivu to Ratan, there was a right angle triangle as well. So first statement is fairly obvious. You can calculate, right? Why I'm saying you will calculate is because see, I can calculate using Pythagoras theorem only, right? I know this is 80, right? I know this is 25. I know this is 25. So if I take this as x, this will be 80 minus x. So I can apply Pythagoras on x and 25 to get AB in terms of x. See, why I'm not solving it, I can write it. So AB square will be x square. But in DS problem, we don't need to actually solve. Similarly, from the other side, BC square will be 80 minus x whole square plus 25 square. If I add them, AB square plus BC square is anyways given to be 80 square. So these two added will be 80 square. So I can solve x, right? I'll get x. We don't need to actually solve the problem in DS, but we know that x will come. And one x comes, I can get all these in lengths. All the lengths in the question are so one alone is sufficient to solve. So now when one alone is sufficient, since we have an option 3 also that either alone is sufficient, so I do need to check statement 2 alone. But here statement 2 alone without the dimensions of the rectangle itself will only give me half. Area is what? Half AB into BC. This is 1000. So all I get is AB into BC, right? I cannot get actually AB and BC because even had they said there are integers or something like that, I could have figured out. But AB into BC 2000 will give multiple answers. So there will not be one unique solution. And final answer which you need to take is only one alone is sufficient. I cannot get the answer by two alone in this problem, right? Fine. Let's move on to the next one. So in eighth, there was a bit of efforts, but when you reach ninth, it's an easy HCF LCM problem. Uh, it says that LCM of a number and 9. So let's say that number is X. So LCM of X and 990 is 6930. Similarly, GCD, or we also call it HCF of that number with 550 is 110. What is the sum of the digits of least possible value of that number? So I have to find the minimum value of X and finally find its sum of digits. So why I was saying easy is because if you understand LCM and HCF in a very conceptual way, you will realize how LCM is calculated, how HCF is calculated. You will see the factors of X. So let us first factorize everything, right? 990, X and 990. So if 990 will factorize, it is basically 9 into 11 into 2 into 5. So 2 into 3 square into 5 into 11. LCM of this is given to us as 6930. 6930, you can take first 9 common and then you'll get rest of the factors 2 into 3 square into 5 into 7 into 11. Similarly, in the HCF one, if you factorize 550 is 5 into 11 into 10. So it will be 2 into 2 5s into 11. And 110, 110 is nothing but 5 less than 550 by a factor of 5. Now, if you look at the thought of HCF and LCM, right? Look at HCF first, let's say. So now X with this is giving HCF only 2, 5, 11. So if I have to minimize X, so I can take only, I have to take these factors because those are coming in the HCF. The second 5 or need not take. It may or may be there in X, but this much minimum I have to take. So based on the statement of HCF, I have to take, this is 110 only, right? So X minimum has to be 110. But look at this statement, 2 into 3 square. 2 is here, 2 is here. 3 square is here, 3 square is here. 5 is here, 5 is here. 11 is here, 11 is here. The only additional factor which I'm getting in LCM is 7. Now, where will that 7 come from? That 7 has to come from X, right? Because then only LCM will have a factor of 7. So 110 to 511 was minimum to be taken here, and another 7. So the minimum value of X will be 7 into 110, which is 770. So these much factors 1, 2, 1, 5, 1, 7, and 111 has to be there in the least possible value of X, 770. Final answer we were supposed to tell digit sum. 7 plus 7 plus 0 is 40. Right? A good problem, right? Because it tests your very basic understanding of HCF LCM, that whether you understand how HCF is calculated and whether you understand how LCM is calculated. Right. Coming to question number 10, it says there is a cubic polynomial. These three roots are basically radius of three concentric circles. Find the ratio of the area. So to find the ratio of the area, so if the radius are R1, R2, R3, so ratio of area will be pi R1 square is to pi R2 square is to pi R3 square. Pi will get cancelled out, and the final answer is R1 square is R2 square is to R3 square. So if I am able to find the roots of this polynomial, I just have to square them and take the ratio. See the roots of this polynomial. So when we talk about solving a quadratic, we have various ways. We can do it by splitting the midterm or use the discriminant formula. and a lot of ways you can find out the roots. But for cubic, there is no standard formula. But how we do it is that we try to guess or number fit the first root. Once you get the first root, you can factorize it and get the other two using a quadratic. Here, so we generally start by 1, -1, 2, -2, and so on and so forth. We try to put x as these values in the cubic and see where the polynomial is becoming 0. 0 means that that number becomes the factor of that polynomial. Here 1 and -1 will not give you answer, but 2 will fit, because 2 into 8 will be 16, 11 into 4 is 44, 70 into 2 is 34, minus 6, 50 minus 50 is 0. So that means 2 is a factor. So this polynomial will be x minus 2 into a quadratic equation. Right. Now, how do we get that quadratic equation? We divide this polynomial by x minus 2 using the long division, right? Let me divide it separately. So 2x cube minus 11 square minus 11x square plus 17x minus 6. So you have to divide it by x minus 2. This is a bit of effort in this question, but this we do in class, right? So you first multiply by 2x square so that this 2x cube goes minus 4x square. And you subtract it, this term gets cancelled. This is minus 7x square. These will come down. Now you multiply by minus 7x. This minus 7x square plus 14x minus 6. When you subtract it, this goes, you get 3x minus 6, which is nothing but 3 times of x minus 2. So the quadratic which we were trying to get is nothing but 2x square minus 7x plus 3. Now this is a very easy middle term splitting because 7 is 6 plus 1 and 2 into 3 is also 6. So I can do 2x square minus 6x minus x plus 3. Now I take a 2x and minus 1 here common. So my final answer will be 2x minus 1 into x minus 3. So this was the first root. This is the second root. This is the third root. So my roots are half, 2, and 3. And these are the radius. Now I put it, the ratio was largest to smallest, right? So I'll do 3 ka square 9, 2 ka square 4, half ka square 1 by 4. Now 4 I have to multiply in all to get it in integral form. This will be 36, this will be 16, this will be 1, which is my again fourth option. So this was an interesting problem, but only someone who has a good hold on solving a cubic equation, which we very much do in a class, right? So this is the standard way of solving a cubic equation, that you try to guess the first root and do long division and solve rest of them as a quadratic, which we know how to solve. Right, let's talk about the 11th question. Again, a paragraph to read. Let's read it together. Is that restaurant has 16 vegetarian items, 9 non-vegetarian items, some contain gluten, some do not. So 16 veg, there will be some veg gluten, there will be some veg gluten free. For free, I am writing F. Similarly, for 9 non-veg, there will be some non-veg with gluten and there will be some non-veg free of gluten. So one evening, Rohit and his friends go to the restaurant. They plan to choose 2 different veg and 3 different non-veg. Okay, then Bela goes. Bela chooses 2 vegetarian and 1 non-vegetarian, but only from the gluten-free. Okay. So number of combinations. So it basically was a permutation combination problem. It says that combination for Rohit and his group was 12 times the number of combination for Bela. How many menu items had gluten? So I had to calculate the number of items with gluten. So I basically need the breakup of this 16 within gluten and gluten-free. Similarly, breakup of this 9. So for Rohit, see Rohit, it's very easy because he's selecting from the whole menu. So for Rohit, 16 C2 into 9 C3. This is given to us 12 times. So this was Rohit's combination. Let's talk about Bela's combination. So for Bela, she'll be choosing from gluten-free. So let's call this Y. This obviously will become 16 minus Y. Let's call this X, and this will become 9 minus X. So Bela chooses how many vegetarian? 2. So YC2 and only one non-vegetarian XC1. See here, I can you know do number fitting. There are two ways to solve it here. In fact, very interesting thing. I was discussing this with someone yesterday, and this is very interesting. I solved it in a different way, and somebody else solved it in a different value, but both of us got the final answer same. See, because why I'm saying that is because if you just write it, how do we write 16C2? We write 16 into 15 by 2 plus 9C3 will be 9 into 8 into 7 divided by 6. Now this is 12. YC2 will be y into y minus 1 divided by 2, and XC1 is nothing but x. So now if you calculate some things like you cut off this 2, right? And this 6 into 9 into 8, 72 is 12. Then this 12 goes with this 12. So basically you are given to y minus y, y into y minus 1 into x is 16 into 15 into 7. Now this is very easy. Y becomes 16, y minus 1 15, and x becomes 7. So my answer is that this y was 16. So there was all the vegetarian items are gluten free and there is no gluten in veg. Similarly, x is 7 and this is 9 minus x is 2. So zero gluten items here, 2 here. My net total gluten items becomes 2. Right. So the other answer which I did, this was what my friend did. The other answer which I did was when I reached this stage, right? 16C2 into 9C3 equals to 12 into YC2 into XC3. If instead of doing this in the open form, if you actually calculate it, so there is another possible answer. If you actually calculate 16C2 into 9C3 divided by 12, this comes out to be 8, sorry, XC1 tha na? This comes out to be, I think I'll just take the numbers which I get, 840. Right, this comes out to be 840. Now, if you do that, again, this step will be similar for both of us. This 2 from below will go here and this will make this as 840 into 2 will be 1680. Right. Now here I can do bit of number fitting by making factors of 1680. Then also, so the very interesting thing is that y equal to 15 and x equal to 8 is also giving a solution to this question. That was a very fantastic thing. Obviously, XAT will not have to come out with any clarification because the answer for both. So when y is 15, so my gluten, since there were total 16 non-veg items, so there will be one with gluten. Similarly, in non-veg, there were 9 items, 8 were coming out to be gluten-free, so one gluten here. Again, 1 plus 1 is 2. So somebody could do 0 plus 2 is 2, or somebody could do 1 plus 1 is 2. Both of them are correct, but that, as a quant faculty fascinates me that there were two very different answers leading to the correct answer. So both methods will reach the final answer same. So there will be no contradiction or claim on this question being wrong or anything like that. Right. I think the first method is easier to do. That's why I shared the method which my friend did, because my method involved a bit of number fitting. That's how I did it. I was able to get the answer happily, but it did require some hit and trial, make factors of 1680, and uh, it takes a bit of hit and trial. Yeah. Let's come to the question 12. So this was my favorite problem of this entire XAT 24 exam. It it tests your very basic knowledge of linear equation, simultaneous linear equation, but the way the options are framed, it requires you to apply your mind very brilliantly. So it was a very my favorite question of this exam. So it says that coinciding. So coinciding means that, okay, if this is one line, the other one, coincides with it, one over the other, right? Uh, just a caution here, somebody might understand coinciding as, this scenario, that one line, the other is cutting it. But we call this as coinciding. This is called intersection, two intersecting lines. So coinciding may, what is the condition we do is A1 by A2 equals to B1 by B2, all ratios become same, right? This is the thing we used to study in simultaneous equation. So here it will be q by 3. I'm taking the second equation first. R by 21, not plus, this is equal. This is equal to minus 7 by P, right? So if these all three have to be equal, we need to see which of the 5 option contradicts it. So that means there will be 4 options which do not contradict this, and there will be one which does not fit this problem with this equation, right? So let us look at them. First one says P and Q must have opposite signs. This is very evident because see, Q and R do not have a negative sign, so they have to be of both same sign. But P has a negative sign, so minus P has to equate either Q or R, so they have to have opposite sign. Q and R will have same sign, and P will have opposite sign, which means if Q and R are positive, P will be negative. If Q and R are negative, P will be positive. So this is actually correct option. So we are canceling it because we need to find a contradiction. Smallest, largest, we need to give a thought. So I first eliminated option 4 and 5. R and Q must have same sign. This is also correct. P cannot be 0 is obviously given, because if P is 0, then there is Q and R will become infinity, right? Even the equations will never be same. Right. So option 1, 4, and 5, we are easily able to eliminate. For option 2 and 3, since I need to find smallest and largest, and one of them is of different sign. So what I did was, I did 2 cases. Case 1, QRP, plus, plus, minus. Case 2, these two negative and P positive. And the equation which we had was Q by 3 equals to R by 21 equals to minus 7 by P. Just, yeah. So now for the first case, when Q and R are positive, see, here I can calculate this, R becomes 7 times Q, right? And if R is 7 times Q, then R is greater than Q. And anyways, P is negative. I'm talking about the case 1 first. In case 1, R is 7 times Q, so R is greater than Q, and P is a negative number. So the smallest is P and the largest is R. In first case, this is the smallest and this is the largest. Let's look at this case 2 here. So this is for case 1. Let's look at case 2. Now again, R is 7Q, but since they are negative numbers, so multiplying a negative number by 7 will make it even further smaller, more negative, right? So R becomes less than Q. And similarly, P is positive, so it will be the maximum. So here, this is the smallest and this is the largest. Now look at the options. Let's look at the options. Just pardon me for a second. Yeah, let's look at the options. So what we arrived in this question was that either R is smallest or P. In one scenario, we were getting R smallest, P largest. The other, we were getting R largest, P smallest. So here, smallest being R is possible. These three we had already eliminated. Smallest of these three becoming R is also possible. There is no contradiction. But the largest is Q never happens. Do you understand this? We had some technical thing. I had to erase the solution. But you remember, we got this, right? In one case, it was R greater than Q greater than P. The other case, we had P greater than Q is greater than R. So here R was largest, P was smallest. Here P was largest, R was smallest. Q was always in the middle. So largest being Q is contradicting what we set out to. So the answer will be option 3. Right? Okay, so coming to question number 13 now. Question number 13 says there is a number 4-digit of the form A, B, 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 B. First digit is A greater than 0. Last three are all B. Which of the following is both necessary and sufficient? So we need to find out which is necessary to make it divisible by A and which is also sufficient. मतलब ऐसा होना चाहिए और ऐसा होना काफी है, right? Just to make understand in a easier way. So it should be both necessary and sufficient. It has to be there and it has to be enough, right? So let us write this number. It says A, B, 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 B. We know that we can write it as 1000 into A plus 100 into B plus 10 into B plus B. If I take B common, this will become 1000 A plus 111 B. This is how we write the number, right? So now they say this has to be multiple, sum k times A. So this part is already a multiple of A. So now I have to make this part a multiple of A so that together they all become an overall multiple of A. So look at the options. B equal to 0. See, B equal to 0 will make it a multiple of A, but is it necessary, right? I can have B as, let's say, if A is 2. So I can have B as 2, right? So it's not necessary. Similarly, B divisible by A. So now this looks a very close option, but let us look at the other one, 21. So there is no 21. See, if you factorize 111, it is 3 into 37. So there is no talk of 21 in this question. Similarly, there is no talk of 9 in this question. Let's talk about the last option, 3B is divisible by A. So now B divisible by A is sufficient. The first option, it is sufficient, but is it necessary? So when I said A is 2, putting B as 2 or 4 will, help us. But look at this, if A is 2 and let's say A is 3, right? Let's take a case where A is 3, since we are talking about 3 here. So if A is 3, now even if B is 5, then still 111B will be a multiple of 3, not because B has a 3, 5 doesn't have a 3. So, but there is a 3 inbuilt in 111. So that means I don't need B to be a multiple of A. All I need is 3 into B to be a multiple of A, right? So that factor, so I told you two cases. There was one case where A was 2 and B was multiple of 2. So either B can have that factor of A or that factor of A can come from 3 as well, right? So that is how we land up at option number 5. This was a bit tricky problem because there was an option and it was given at the very front in option number 1, which a lot of people will quickly decide and move on from this question within a minute. But you need to take a pause and think that why were the other options given, and try to evaluate them as well, because B being divisible is sufficient, but it is not necessary. I hope you understand that. I can give an example also. Let's say there is a number, I took B as 5, right? So I took B as 5 and A, let's say we take 3. So 3, 5, 5, 5. So this number, even though B is not divisible by A is 3, right? And B is 5. So 3 triple 5, 5 is not divisible by 3, but this overall number, 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 3 is 18. So it is a definite multiple of 3. So this is what we are saying, that it is not necessary that B is divisible by A. It is sufficient, but it is not necessary. So in that sense, it was a bit tricky problem. But if you understand the words necessary and sufficient properly, you will not face problem in that. So we are midway of the paper, question number 14. Consider a right triangle. Diagram is already given. Right angle at B. So there is a right angle here. This is 18, 24. So this has to be 30. Again, 3, 4, 5 standard triplet into 6. Right. So while reading 18, 24, 30 should come in your mind. And there are two circles of radius r in such a way that this touches that have already been given by the diagram. Two circles also touch each other. Image is given, so the story becomes easier. 18, 24, find the value of r. Now this, I personally feel this was a difficult problem. Reason being that if you try different ways, there is some of the other values which you're not able to find. So in this question, but yes, there is a thought. Okay, so when we talk about this in the class, that there is a trigger, right? So from two given sides, if I have to find another length, right? So length to length, usually we say that there are two trigger points. Either you solve it using Pythagoras or you solve using uh, similar triangles, right? So similar triangles and Pythagoras are usual triggers for when you have to calculate a length from another length, right? So here R will not form a part of Pythagoras triplet. 18, 24, 30 is a triplet, but radius is not going to come in a triplet. So we have to create a similar triangle. And how do we create similar triangle? By drawing a parallel line. Here there is an obvious construction that if I draw a line which is if I draw a line which is, perpendicular, so let's call it DE. So if I draw this line perpendicular, now basically there is this question, we call it a construction problem. Construction geometry problems are never easy because somebody who can click that construction will find it easy, but if you don't find that construction, then this question was not for you in this exam. So DE is perpendicular to BC, which also makes DE parallel to AB because both of them are perpendicular to the same base. So now since DE is parallel to AB, we can apply basic proportionality, or you can call it similar triangles, right? So we can get lengths. But here again, see, this is radius, this is radius, this is also radius, this is also radius, this is also radius, this is also radius, right? In all directions it is R. So if I have to find out, let's say BE I know is 2R, right? Radius plus radius, then EC will become 24 minus 2R because the entire length is 24. So to find out, so to apply similar triangles in DEC and ABC, I need to find R. So here, instead of making equations in similar triangle and eventually solving it, the other easier and faster would be to go through options. In this, you could have put first R equal to 3, then R equal to 4 and check whether you're getting the same consistent values, right? So let's say we put R equal to 3. So if you put R equal to 3, this will become 6, this will become 18. Now if this ratio is 3 is to 1, this will also be 3 is to 1. If this is the EC is 18 and total is 24, so that becomes 2 is to 3. So this also becomes 2 is to 3. DE becomes 12, right? DE is to, so let me write down, DE is to AB from similar triangle has to be EC upon BC. Now we got this as 18. This already is given 24. This is 3 by 4 actually. This is 3 by 4. 18 and 24 will be 3 by 4. So this also has to be 3 by 4. So DE is 3 by 4 of AB, right? So DE, if we'll calculate, will be 3 by 4 of AB, which is 18. If you'll calculate this will come 13.5. So this comes out to be 13.5. Now, if also this DC by AC will also be same ratio, right? So 30 also gets splits into 3 is to 4. That means DC becomes 22.5, which is 3/4 of 30. So this is 13.5, this is 22.5, and this value is 18. So for this triangle, so in triangle DEC, I can find in radius and check whether I'm getting that consistent value of R equal to 3. Formula for in radius is sum of the two sides minus the hypotenuse divided by 2. So A is 13.5 plus 18 minus 22.5 divided by 2. This will be 4.5. 18 plus 13.5 will be 31.5 minus this 9 by 2, which is 4.5. Now this is a contradiction because we started by assuming R equal to 3 and we are landing with same R as 4.5. So that means R equal to 3 didn't fit. But we still have to try R equal to 4. Reason being because there are options like 3.5 and 4.5 as well. But see, even if 4 centimeter was further down in the options, I would have still tried R equal to 4 first because 3.5 and 4.5 are decimals. They might involve more calculation. So let's try R equal to 4. Now R equal to 4, when you will try, this will become 8. This will become 16. Now the ratio is 16 by 24, which is 2:3. So DE will be 2:3. DE will be 2:3 of 18, which is 12, and DC will be 2:3 of the entire length 30, which is 20. So now when you will apply in radius, assuming it to be 4, when you apply the in radius, it will be 12 plus 16 minus 20 divided by 2, which is 8 by 4, 8 by 2, which is nothing but 4. So here there is consistency. See, let me just summarize this problem. My personal view is that out of the 28 questions, this was the most challenging one. And in the exam, I would have skipped this, right? But since we are discussing the solutions, I've showed you the way to do this. The construction was critical. You had to create similar triangle, which was not there in the problem. And once you create them, also you have to test the options. So it was a lengthy and a challenging problem. So first we tried r equal to 3, then applied in radius and checked that actually the radius is 4.5. We started with 3, landed at 4.5, there is a contradiction. Then we checked option 4, when radius is 4, we arrived at in radius also as 4, which is no contradiction. So the answer for this question was 4, second option. Right? Let's come to the 15 problem. Now, 15 problem, it says that a king has distributed all his rare jewels into 3 boxes. The first box has 1/3, the second has k by 5, and k is a positive integer, third has 66. So there was some rare jewels, let's call them x. They were put in 3 boxes, 1/3, k by 5, and 66. And obviously k is positive integer, x is also positive integer, total number of jewels. Right now we have to find how many. So x is what we need to find out. So here that we have to find out based on k being an integer, because either k is 1, then it is 1/5, or it is 2/5, or 3/5, and 4/5, and so on and so forth. But if you look at this, 1/3 is 33.33%, which is already gone. So if I take k as 1 by 5 is 20%. This is still possible. I take 2 by 5, which is 40%. This is still possible. 3 by 60% over, that's also possible. But if I try to go to k equal to 4, it will become 80%, which is not possible because 33.33% jewels I have already put in the first box. So there are 3 possible values of k. Right. So now we can try out one by one and see where we are able to get an integral answer. The final answer also has to be a positive integer. Or you can say that x will be 1/3 of x plus k/5 of x plus 66. Now if you'll solve, this will become x equals to, I'm not solving the number because we just need to find out the integral values upon 10 minus 3k. Now here, we just need to put k as 1. If we put k as 1, 10 minus 3 will become 7. Now there is no factor of 66 and 15 having 7. So this is not possible. It will give me a fractional value of total number of jewels. And now k2, 10 minus 6 will be 4, which again is not there. Now, if there is a possibility of mistake, 66 does have a 2, but there is no second 2 there. So finally, if I put k equal to 3, this will become 1. Right? 10 minus 9 will become 1. So the answer is 66 into 15 at k equal to 3. 66 into 15, if you'll calculate, that is nothing but 990. Another fantastic problem, but yes, there was an effort in terms of looking at integral solution, that ensuring that both k and x have to be positive integral. That was the only way to solve this question. Right, coming back to question 16, it was a two question problem, right? It was a set of 2 questions. From here onward, there are a lot of questions which are given in set of 2s and 3s. So this was a 2 set question. Let's talk about it. Aman has come to the market with 100 rupees. If he buys 5 kgs of cabbage and 4 kgs of potato, he's left with 20. So basically, they are saying that 5 kgs of cabbage plus 4 kgs of potato is worth 80 rupees because 20 is left. Similarly, they are saying 4 kgs of cabbage plus 5 kgs of onion, there's a third quantity, is 93 because 7 rupees are left. And obviously, all of them are positive integers. C, P, O have to be positive integers, right? So once we know that there are positive integers, so basically this question becomes the question of integral solutions, right? So 5c plus 4p is 80 and 4c plus 5o is 93. So I have to find integral solutions of both. So let us find the integral solutions of this equation and this equation, right? Before that, let's see what was asked in the question, right? Aman decides to buy only onion in whatever maximum quantity with the money he has come to the market with. So basically, they're asking you to find the value of O, right? And see how many maximum you can buy it in 100 rupees. So to find O, I have to find out the integral solutions of both the equations. So 5c plus 4 p, if I find out the integral solution, I'll have to start with 5c plus 4p equal to 80. The first solution is 16, 0. This obviously I'll not take because positive integers we have to take. Then I'll keep reducing this by 4, 12, 8, 4, 0 and keep increasing this by 5, 5, 10, 15 and 20. Again, I have to ignore this. There are 3 possible solutions from the first equation. When you solve from the second equation, 4c plus 5 onions equals to 93. So for 93, the first solution you'll have to guess. You're going to start with C 0, 1 because the rest of it has to be multiple of 5. So I can start with 2, making this as 85, so 17. And I'll keep increasing this by 5 and then decreasing this by 4. So next will be 7 and 13. Then 12, 17, 22 increases of 5, here drops of 4, 9, 5, 1. I cannot go beyond this because 1 minus 4 will become negative. So now, see, the possible options for C were 12, 8 and 4. Out of them, the only one which is coming here is 12. 8 and 4 is not. So combining, you get only one answer, which is C is 12, P is 5, and onion is 9. So there were 3 possible solutions here and 5 possible solutions here. Out of them, there was only one combination where C was common, which is 12. So 12, 5, and 9 is my final answer. Now they ask you how many money will be left by buying the maximum quantity of onions. So if my onion is 9 rupees per kg, I can buy 11 kgs and spend 99 rupees, leaving me with only 1 rupee. Right. So interesting problem. So there was some bit of effort, but since we are all done this in the class, finding integral solutions, so just finding integral solution of 2 equations to get the answer was not that effort, not that much of an effort, right? There was an attached question, question 17. So we already have the values from the first question that cabbage is 12 rupees per kg and potato is 5 rupees per kg and onion is 9 rupees per kg. So this data has already been calculated in the first problem, right? So in the second problem, they say that he decides to buy only onion and potato. So let's say he buys X kgs of onion and Y kgs of potato. I'm not taking C and P, O, P, C again because those we already used for rupees per kg. This time X and Y are in kgs. Right. So now the money left. So they're saying that he has to buy only onion and potato in such a way that what is left with him is insufficient to buy full kilogram of either of the two. So that means if I am left with 5 or more rupees, I can buy another potato. right? Another kg of potato. So that means my total spend should be either 96 or more than 96, right? So 9 rupee per kg onion, I have bought X kgs. So total spend is 9X. Potato at 5 rupees per kg, I have bought 5 Y kgs. So my spend is 5Y. This value has to be 96, or it can be 97, or it can be 98, or it can be 99, or it can be 100. Now, this question I leave it to your discretion because I have to solve 5 integral solution: 9x plus 5y, 96, then 97, then 98, then 99, and then 100. 5 times I have to solve. Why I have to solve all of them? Because it has been asked that if all such permissible combinations are equally likely, what is the probability that onion is more than potato? So I'll have to find all the integral solution of these 5 equations, and out of them, how many have x more than y will be my favorable cases to get the probability. We'll obviously solve it right now, but in exam you could have marked this for later on. Even if you have done 16 in 17, since there was a lot of time to be involved, you could have decided to do it later on if you have time after reaching the last question, right? So let us solve them. 9x plus 5y equal to 96. I'm quickly writing the answers, which I've already solved beforehand. This will give you two integral solution, 9 and 3 and 4 and 12. Similarly, 9x plus 5y equal to 97 will also give you two solutions, 8, 5, 3, 14. These are 2, 1, 2, favorable, not favorable. X greater than y चाहिए हमें. We need x greater than y. Third solution, fourth solution, favorable, not favorable. 9x plus 5y equals to 98. This will also give you two solutions, 7, 7, 2, 16. Both are not favorable because we need x more than 5. Even equal to is not allowed. 9x plus 5y equal to 99 will again give you two solutions, 6, 9, 1, 18. None of them are favorable. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 solutions till now, and only two of them favorable. Finally, 9x plus 5y equals to 100. Last equation we have to solve. This will again give you two solutions, 5, 11, 10, 2. This is not favorable. This is favorable. This is solution number 9. This is solution number 10. So there were 10 solutions. Out of them, 1, 2, 3 are favorable. So the probability is 3 out of 10. So it was just like question 16. 17 was very conceptual and not very difficult to handle. But yes, you had to solve all 10 integral solution and see how many of them have onions more than potato. So it was a lengthy question. You could have kept it for later on, depending on how much time you have left. Right? Again, a set of two questions. Venn diagram problem, question 18 and 19, set of two questions, but Venn diagram, it was a fairly easy problem. If you have done Venn diagram, it was a fairly easy question. It says 41 applicants, some have expertise in one or more data. There are three expertise, right? Data analysis, data handling, coding. Number of applicants is given in table. So they've given you data analysis people, they've given you data handling individual and in groups of two, and all three is X, right? So let us draw the Venn diagram. You can even have a look at the two questions, that's so that you know what you need to find out. So they are basically asking you what are the possible values of X, and in the other question they're asking you how many have expertise in none, right? So when you draw a diagram, there are some people which are outside the three bubbles, right? When you draw sample space is 41 here. In this, there are three categories, right? The names are data analysis, DA, data handling, and coding. So once you put these 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 values, there will be some people, let's call them Y. This is given to you as X. So in the first question, they're asking you the value of X. In the second question, you have to find out the value of Y. So that means I have to solve the Venn diagram fully. And once I solve that fully, I just have to tick the answers for the two questions. Now, data analysis and data handling together is 2. So that means this value is 2 minus X, right? Similarly, data handling and coding here is 3. So this is 3 minus X because total is 3 and X is already taken out. This is a very standard way of solving Venn diagrams in class, right? And this is 6 minus x. Now this total has to be 12. 6 plus 2, 8 has already been taken. 2x as negative, 1x as positive. So 8x plus 4. Here again x, 5 has already, this was 12, right? And dh is 5 and this is 7. So 2 plus 3, 5 is already taken. So this is x. 7 may 6 plus 3, 9 has already been taken. So I have to subtract 2. So I've got all the values in terms of x. So here, all the values have to be non-negative. It cannot be that minus 1% has taken, has expertise in data handling, right? So all the negative values, the smallest is 2 minus x. So 2 minus x has to be greater than equal to 0, which means x at best can be 2. So with this, if you look at the options are also asking you between 0, 1 and 2. So we know that x is less than 2, but look at this value, x minus 2. Now this also has to be non-negative. If this is non-negative, x has to be greater than equal to. Now this gives you a very wonderful answer that x has to be less than equal to 2 and greater than equal to 2. That means x is actually 2. The only common between these two is x is 2. And so we have to tick 2 only. Now to find out why, I can find out all the values, right? I can find out all the values and rest out of 41, the rest of them will add up to y plus rest of the values will add up to 41, right? So 1 x is 2, this is 6, this is 2, this is 0, this is 1, right? You can just add up those values. Or you can apply the union formula as well, right? Union formula भी हमें पता था, right? Union formula हमारा क्या होता है that A union B union C is A plus B plus C minus the couple unions B intersection, and then you add back the intersection of 3 because already subtracted it 3. So here if I get A union B, because why I'm using this formula for ease is either you can, this was also fine that you calculate everything in terms of x, that's also fine. And in union, since the values are given in that form, so 12 plus 5 plus 7 minus 2 minus 3 minus 6 plus x, if you'll calculate, this comes out 13 plus x. X is already calculated in the first question as 2, this is 15. So if my union is 15, so out of 41, there's only 15 people are doing one or the other of these specializations. So that means y is 26. 41 minus 15, 26. Okay. So it was a Venn diagram problem, but fairly straightforward on the basic questions which we do in class. Right. From here we have 3 sets of 3 problems each. Right. 9 questions are left in our paper, all with sets of 3. There was no actual DI in this exam, right? There was no complicated graphs or calculative tables. All this set was based on averages, right? There was another set based on cricket, but that was also based on percentages, right? And similarly, the last one was based on combination of coupons. So there was more of LR and quant based sets than DI in this year, right? Unlike the previous 3 years. Okay, let's talk about each of them one by one. For the first set, question 20, 21, 22, this was the common data given. So they've defined something which we don't usually do, upper hinge. Upper hinge, they're saying in data set is the median of all values to the right of the median. So if I arrange my data in an ascending arrangement, they're saying upper hinge will be right values. So if they were even explained you, lower hinges the median of the left values from the median. So there will be one median and there will be some values on left of it. Their further median will be called lower hinge, and the values on the right, their further median will be called upper hinge. They will even explained you with an example as well. Now for the question, they're saying that 13 values are there, but 2 values are deleted or smudged. And they, let them call those A and B. A is less than B. Remaining 11 values are given to you. Right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 16, 19, 21, 21. So you can just write down those 11 values. And there are 2 values A and B, which will make it total 13. But there were some things that the student remembers, and based on that, we have to find out A and B. They say the minimum is 2. Now this is fantastic because if minimum is 2, then A, which is the smaller one of the two, has to be 2, right? So A is already given. If they say minimum is 2, A is already given. Lower hinge, since I right now don't know the median, where is B placed, I don't know lower hinge is median of which, but I know that 6.5 will be average of 6 and 7. Let's come back to that. Median is 12. Now median 12, how many values on the right of the median? 3, 6. And there are 13 values. That means 12 has to be right in the middle. So that means my B has to be less than equal to 12. It can be equal as well, because if two values are equal, we'll still take 12 as the median, right? Average of 12, because there are odd number of values, 12 still will be in the middle. So median 12 tells me that B has to be 12 or below 12. Right, maximum is 29. This doesn't give me anything, right? Because 29 is already there. This is a waste of data for me. So the two data which I have left is lower hinge is 6.5 and upper hinge is 21. Now upper hinge 21 is also not very useful for me because these are the top 6 values and the middle value is both 21. So unka average anyways is 21. So upper hinge also doesn't help me, right? But lower hinge does. Lower hinge says that 6 and 7 have to fall in the middle. So that means my B cannot go above 8, right? Because see, lower hinge will have these 6 values, right? I mean, with B, these 5 values and B. So now my, if 6 and 7 have to fall in the middle, then B has to be either 8 or above, or at best it can be 7. Because even if I add one more 7 here, then still 6 and 7 will be in middle and their average will be 6.5. So that means my B has to be either 7 or above 7. So I get possible values of B: 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let me just recap this for you. Minimum 2 gave us the value of A directly as 2. Upper hinge 21 did not give us anything because 21 was already there. Maximum 29 was already there. Median 12 told us that B now cannot go above 12 because if B is 13, then that 13 will become the median, right? So B at best can go till 12. Lower hinge gave us the lower limit of B. It says that since the lower hinge is 6.5, so the two values in middle should be 6 and 7. So if to make 6 and 7 in the middle, I can put 8 as B, or even 9, 10, 11, or even 7, because then 2 7 still the mean will be of 6 and 7. So B has 6 possible values: 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This much data we could figure out. Now let's see what are the 3 questions. The first question is very easy now. It says that what is the possible value of B? We had decided it will be between 6 and 12. There is only one option between 6 and 12. So because B is between 7 and 12, the 8 is the only option which is between 7 and 12. The first question was easy. In second question, they are saying what is the average of the 13? So that means we need to figure out, there were 6 possible values of B. They will give me 6 possible values of the average, and we'll have to see which of the following is there in the option. So what you can do is you can add up these 12 values. I know 12 values, right? So my 12 values, if you add up, including A2, you'll get 173. So my average will be 173 plus B, which is unknown, divided by 13 values. This will be my average. Now B varies between 7 and 12. So this sum will vary between 180 by 13 once you do average to, once you put B maximum, it will be 185 by 13. So my answer has to be 180 by 13 and 185 by 13 in between these. Now 13 into 13, it is not possible. It is 169, right? So 13, 12, 12.5, these are wrong. 13.5 still is a doubt, but if you calculate 180 by 13, it is 13.9 something. Or in fact, if you do 13 into 14, you'll find it is 182, which is very much in between 180 and 185. So 180 till 185, I had 6 possible values. One of them will be 182 by 13, which is 14. There were two ways to do this, right? Either you did 180 by 13, you find out it is 13.9. So the only value which can come is 14, or you can directly see 13 into 14 is 182, which is lying between 180 and 185. There was a third problem on the same set, which gave you some extra information as well. In question 22, they said that while checking nodes, it find out that even so there were two values which were deleted, but even in the 11 recorded values that did not get deleted, there was a value which was recorded as half. So that means these values which are given to us 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 16 till 29, one of them was actually double of it. So we have to double one of them. It says that the average is 15. So what is the value of B? So we have to B again, we have six possible values 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See, the possible values of B which we calculated was used in all three problems, right? So we were on the right track. So now one of the values has to double. So see, the sum is already 173. If I keep adding B, right, my possible values will be 180. We just did that 180, 181, 182, 183, 184, 185. But to get the average as 15, 15 into 13 values, I have to reach 195. This is 195. So if 180 is already there, so that number which has to be doubled should give 15. Similarly, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. This is at B equal to 7, this is at 8, this is 9, 10, 11, 12. So at these values of B, my total without that correction is this, and with that correction, I should get additional this much to reach 195, making the average as 15, which is given in the problem. Now here the interesting thing is 15, 14, 13, 11, 10. These are not even there in the number, right? Look at the numbers which are given to us. If I have to double one of them, if I double 6, I'll get an additional 6. If I double 16, I'll get an additional 16. But none of the 15, 14, 13, 11, 10 is there. There is a 12. So there is a 12 which I can double, right? So B equal to 10. At B equal to 10, there is a possibility that the value which was supposed to be double is 12, making the total 195 and the average as 15. Here 12 is there also in the option, right? So be careful, don't mark 12. 12 is actually the answer to the question that which was the value which was incorrectly noted down, but we were supposed to find out at what B that happened. So at B equal to 10, 12 can be written twice, or you can say doubled it, giving us the answer as 15 average, right? Right. This was a very interesting and second set. T20 games, they're saying 20 overs, run rate, mostly standard stuff, which we know. And then there is the number of overs is not given. After every 2 overs, the run rate is recalculated and given to us. The more important data in this question was runs per over. So runs per over can be minimum 6 and maximum 15. There was no over where you scored less than 6, and there was no over where you scored more than 15. So all my runs per over, which I'll calculate, has to be between this range. Now, see, this question looks a bit of calculator, right? A lot of people will say value 7.43, 8.08. How do I do this? But see, it has to be integers. The number of overs has to be integer. It is written there also, but we know that as well, right? Oh, number of overs can, while calculating the average, so n has to be integer. K was given an example, so n has to be integer. So 7. So total run, if I add another column here, total runs, right? Now total runs, here it will be 8 into n minus 2. Similarly, 7.43 into n. So now if 7.43 n has to be integral, then n has to be something which makes 7.43 an integer. Similarly, 8.11, 8.45 and 8.08. The number getting multiplied, n plus 2, n plus 4, n plus 6, has to be in such a way that it makes it integer. Now here the smartness. So like I told you in the beginning, there was no DI, it's all quant based, because see, the previous question was averages. It was a DI set, but based on quant, which is averages. In this set, it was a DI set, but based on concept of fractions and percentages. If you remember, we used to talk about 1 by 7 as 14% or 0.14, right? 1414. So 14 to 8. 14.28%, right? 14.28%. We talk, we know that 1 by 7 is 14.28%. So 43 is almost 3 times of this, right? 14.28 3 times will be 42.84. And they have very much told you that we have done a correction up to 2 decimals. There was a place in the question where they said these numbers are not actual, these are round up numbers, round up till second decimal. So 14.28 into 3 will be 42.84. When you do it in decimal, it will be 0.4284, which when rounded up to second decimal will be 0.43. So basically, they're talking about 3 by 7. So 7.43 is nothing but 7 with a 3 by 7 as decimal, which is 52 by 7. Now, if it is 52 by 7, I have to multiply n in such a way that it becomes integer. So n has to be a multiple of 7. And if you look at the very first question where it says that what is the value of n, I know that since 52 by 7 into n has to be an integer, so n cannot be 13, 9 or 12. All I have to check is between 7 and 14. Right? So if you'll calculate n as 14, there are two possible values of n, right? 7 and 14. So at n equal to 7, this will become 52 by 7 into 7 will become 52, right? But the problem will be if you take 14. So if you had taken 14, so this becomes 12, this becomes 14, this becomes 16, 18, and this becomes the end of the match. So this multiplied by 14 will give me integer, but 0.11. See, 0.11, if you know, is 1 by 9. So this is 8 plus 1 by 9, which is 73 by 9. So I need a multiple of 9, right? But 16 is not a multiple of 9. So that means my values were 7, 9, 11, 13, and I'm sorry, n minus 2 से start करना था. This will be 5, n is here, 9, 11, 13. And you can check all fit. 5 into 8 will be 40. 7 into, this is 52 by 7. This is 70. 8 plus 1 by 9, 73 by 9. So multiply करके 52 हो जाएगा. This will be 73. Now 45. 45 is 0.09. 0.09 कहाँ से आता है? 1 by 11. We know 1 by 11 is 9.09 percentage. So 5 times of that. So 8 plus 5 by 11. This will come 88, 93 by 11. Again, यहाँ पे 11 है, 93 by 11 will give you 93. And 08. 08 is actually 1 by 13. Even if you don't know that, you know now 4 out of 5 values are matching, so this has to be 13. 8 plus 1 by 13, which is 104, 105 by 13. When multiplied by 13, this is 105. So I know the runs also at end of this over. After 5 overs, we were at 40, run rate 8. After 7 overs, we were at 52, run rate. And after 13 runs, we were 13 overs, we were at 105 runs. So everything is solvable if you are solid on your percentages. The previous set was solvable very easily if you were solid on your class of quant averages, and this was solvable if you were very solid on your percentages. So n is not 14, it is 7. Let's see what are the other two questions being asked to us. They said in which of the pairs team could have scored 22. See, 40 to 52 is not 22. These are two overs, right? This gap is 12. This gap is 19. I'm so sorry, 21. Right? This is 20 and this is 7, 12. Right? So none of the overs. So this is over 6 and 7. Right? After 5 overs. Right? Then 7 and 8 and so on and so forth. So 6, 7, 7, 8, इनमें से in 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12, 13. These are the 5 combinations given to us. In none of them we are reaching 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. इसमें 12 आ रहा है, इसमें 21 आ रहा है. This is giving you 20. This is giving you 12. None of the 4 combinations which are given to us is giving 22. So we have to work on the other options. So 6 and 7, 7 and 8 is still possible. 8 and 9 is not possible. and 10 and 11 is not possible. So I have to check 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. The standard pairs given 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, those are not possible. Unka total we already know, and none of them is 22, right? So all we had to check was 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, right? Again, life is easy. Why? There was a statement which we haven't used in this question, which I had mentioned in the very beginning, that every over has to score between 6 and 15. So when they say that over 6 and 7 has scored 12, that means both are 6, 6. Because if my minimum is 6 and my total of 2 overs is 12, I have to get 6 and 6. There is no other possible option. Now here there is a problem in option number 2, because in this I have scored 6 runs. To get total 22, in 8 I have to score 16. This is not possible because my runs per over had to be between 6 and 15. So option 2 also goes. We are left with option 4 without even checking. Right. The last question of this set, it talked about which overs team must have scored the least. This is easy because there were two combinations where we had 12. So this was also 6-6, this is also 6-6. So there are 4 overs which have minimum 6th over, 7th over, 12th over, 13th over. There were 4. So my answer is either 6th over, 7th over, 12th over, or 13. And only one of them is in the option, which is 7th over. There were 4 possible answers to this question, right? There were 4 possible answers to this question, but only one of them was an option, right? Let's come to the last set, question 26, 27, 28. A very interesting question. Uh, a store offers 5 coupons. There were 5 coupons, right? 3 of them were flat discount, 250 on 1200 and above. C was also flat, 600 above you get 100, and in E also flat. But B and D were in percentages, and they also had a upper cap. They had a maximum cap as well. Flat ones don't, because they still stay at the same level. Uh, now, there is another data given at the bottom. The customers are allowed to use at most one coupon in one transaction. 2 or more coupons cannot be used in the same transaction. Okay. Let's look at the questions so that we know what is the approach we need to find out in this 3 questions, right? For customers, 4 customers used 4 coupons and got a total discount on 710. So which was the 5th coupon which we didn't use. So we have to see which 4 coupons can give us a total of 710, right? See, here coupon A, let's talk about the maximum, right? Coupon A is a coupon of 250, right? Coupon B, 15% of 500, 75 till 300. So there is a min max to this. Coupon C is of 100. Coupon D is again in range, 10% of 250 will be 25 and up till 100. And coupon E is a flat of 50. So I have to see which of these 5, which 4 I take and make we are able to make a total of 710. See, if you try to leave coupon A, let's say for a moment, then the maximum total of the rest of them will be 300 plus 100 plus 100 plus 50, which is 550. So that means we have to take A. Similarly, if you try to leave B, the remaining maximum total will be 250, 100, 150, which is 500. So mandatory to take B as well. Similarly, if you leave C, 250, 550, 650, 700. So C will lena. So that means out of 4, ABC has to be taken. Now answer is either D or E. Now if you try to take E, why I'm taking E first? Because it's a flat rate, right? So if you try to take E, now what is the maximum total I can make? 250, 550, 650, and 700. So again, I'm stuck on 700. So that means I cannot take E, I have to take D. How will I take D? 250 plus 300 plus C ka 100. This gives me 550, 650, and the remaining 60 I can get from here. 25 to 100 is the range of D. There will be a 60 in the middle, which I can use to create 710. So that means for 710, the coupon which was not used is the 5th one, E. Right? In the second question, now this is an interesting one. It says that same story, 4 customers, 4 different coupons. Now, in such a way that none of the coupon suboptimally was used. Now, what does that mean? It means that the question itself explains you a discount coupon used suboptimally means that you could have got a better discount by using another coupon. So let's say you're a customer, you go there, the store gives you, okay, you can use any of these five. So you have to use the one which gives you the more discount. In that scenario, what is the minimum combined spend of all the four before discount? So here I have to take coupon in such a way that when I was shopping, there was no other coupon which I could have used in a better way. So here, since I have to minimize, I'll try not to use coupon A first, because coupon A I have to spend minimum 1200. So for let's say for 500 rupees, I used coupon B, got 15%, which is 75 rupees. Then the second customer shopped for 600, used coupon C, got flat 100 rupees, right? Then bare minimum was 200 rupees. You could apply coupon E and got 50. So three customers till here have used 1300, have spent 1300 and got these many coupons. Now I have to either use A or D. Now here there are two thoughts. So this is the only question which I personally feel could be challenged. Uh, Let me just draw this table again in front of this question I drew in the previous question. 500, 600, 200, coupon B applied, C applied, E applied, 15%, 75, flat 100, flat 50. So till now I have spent 1300 and got these much discounts. Now I have to minimize. All the options are more than 1300. So we need to figure out what was the spend of the fourth customer. Now there are two thoughts to this. The first thought, let's see what Zach gives the answer. There are two thoughts to this. One is that the fourth person spends 1200, applies coupon A, right? This will give you maximum discount because the maximum discount was by coupon A. It was 250 on a base of 1200 minimum, which is more than 20%. In this case, 1300 plus 1200, my answer becomes 2500. But there is another thought. See, most likely this is going to be the answer. If you'll check various answer keys available online, almost all of them have given answer 2500. I don't fully disagree with that, but there is one contention which I'm giving you, and that will get resolved once the response sheets come. Out of 28 questions, this is the only question where there is 1% chance of a dispute. If they give answer 25 and somebody has the other answer, or somebody had the other answer and they give 2500. So that will clarify this very soon. The other answer, see, 2500 is a fine answer. I'm not saying it's an incorrect answer, but let me tell you my thought also in this question. So what I could have done in this question was, instead of 1200, if the other customer had spent 1000 rupees, why I'm taking 1000 is, look at the discounts. I had already used coupon B, I had already used coupon E and C. So I was supposed to choose between A and D. So if my spend was only 1000 rupees, coupon A is not applicable to me, right? Because it is applicable on a minimum spend of 1200. So if my spend was 1000 rupees, I could have either applied coupon B and D, right? 10% of 1000 will give me 100, and not B and D, C and D. If my spend was 1000 rupees, right, I could have either applied D, got a 10% discount, which is 100, or I could have applied C, got a flat discount of 100. So in both the scenarios, I was getting 100 rupees. So a 1000 rupee guy applying a coupon D instead of coupon C is not suboptimal, because either ways he could not have got more than 100 rupees. But yes, he could have applied coupon B. But if I apply coupon B, then to minimize that 500, I'll not have that coupon B available. So that is a problem in this question. So the other possible answer which I'm giving you to this question is 1300 plus 1000, which is also there in the option 2300. So I'm leaving you with two answers to this question. Let me just summarize so that you can also think. Most of us have done option B, who have done this question. That was pretty straightforward, right? You one person shop 500, applied B, one person shop 600, C, 200 E, and 1200 A, right? To maximize the discount and to minimize the spend. You got answer 2500. But I'm leaving you with another answer. And like I said, we'll have to wait for XAT to clarify this. I would have marked 2300 personally. Why? Because if the fourth person, see, idea is to minimize the combined spend, right? If I have to minimize the combined spend, the thought process says that why do I spend 1200 then? I can spend 1200 and use coupon D, and it is still not violating my condition of suboptimally, because for 1,000 rupees shopping, 100 discount can come from either of the two coupons, but using one coupon over the other with the same discount is not suboptimal, right? So that way, the other possible answer, which would have been my answer. So let's see who gets the marks for this, or as per the trends of the past 3 years, a lot of questions that gives marks to both and everyone as well, right? If they accept this as a incorrect one. So let's wait for the response sheets to come and let's see whether the answer is 2500 or 2300. If they give 2300, then majority of us we're going to be challenging it. If they give 2500, then only me and probably very few of us would ask them to look at our answer as well. Right. Last question was easy. Easy because you could easily arrive at one answer and that was there in the option, and even after thinking you could not maximize that. They say that a family, so for the same set, they say that a family bought four products of 1000 each. So 1000, 1000, they product four, and one product of 300 each. Now to apply those coupons, the store gives them an option to combine their purchases. I mean, I cannot split my 1000 into two billings of 500, 500, but I can combine one purchase of 1000 with another purchase of 300 and use that best coupon of A, which was applicable only above 1200. So I made two possible answers for this. Both of them are giving same answers. One was that I did one billing of 1000 into 2 together, another billing of 1000 into 2 together, and one billing of 300. In this, used coupon E, got flat discount of 50 in this. And also, there was written somewhere that use the, yeah, they can use the same discount coupon repeatedly for separate transactions. This was changed from the previous two questions. So here also I'll apply B 15%, I'll get 300. Here also I'll apply B, get 15%, get 300, 300, 350. I'll get final discount as 650. This was one scenario which I created. In fact, I was discussing with someone. There was a third scenario also, but the answer was again coming 650. I'll share the second scenario which I created. Second scenario which I created was, one bill where there was 1,000 rupee item and 300 rupee item together. At this, I applied A, got a discount of 250, and then 1000 into 2 combined billing, applied B, got a discount of 300 because of 15%, right? And remaining 1000, I did a billing of 1000, and 1000, we can either apply C or D, which was my contention in question 27, get a discount of 100. The answer is still 650. You can keep trying combination. This question was tricky in this sense that there were so many combination, but there was a option of 700. So in my mind, there was like, let me try another combination, maybe I can get 700. But I tried couple of them, got 650, I marked it, right? And there are more combinations of 650, but you will not be able to get more than 650 in any of the combinations, right? So we are done with the QA section. I'll not call it QA section. There was no DI. All the sets were quant based. So XAT 2024. I wish everyone all the best. Once the response sheet comes, we will have more clarity. But mainly it is for that minor doubt of question 27. The rest you can calculate your marks based on the answers which we have discussed. All of them were pretty straightforward. There is no doubt in the section this year. Right. Best of luck. Goodbye.